Okay, folks, Guitar Summit 2025. I'm here with the great Philip Sayce. First question I'd like to ask you is, what's going on musically in your life, and what's happening right now?
Right on. Well, thank you for asking. Thanks for the opportunity to chat with you today. It's a pleasure to be here at Guitar Summit, my first time, and it's a blast. It's super fun. I've been in the studio this year recording. Have a new grouping of songs. I don't know if do people release albums anymore? I don't know, but I have a whole bunch of songs which will become an album. So it's been a great year of working in studio. And we also have a live album. So I'm trying to decide what to put out first. So we put out a live track about a week or so ago, which was recorded in Los Angeles. And I'm excited about it. Yeah. So just it's nice to have both available and sort of decide what we want to do. Yeah.
Going back in time, what made you pick up the guitar, and what were your main influence? I mean, I hear a little. Of course, I hear Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, but a part of the obvious influence that every guitar player has. What were, the things that really excited you the most about the guitar?
Yeah. You know what? I think certainly those two kings are two of my favorite players, big influences. And, my parents' record collection growing up, my parents grew up in the UK in the 1960s. And so they got to experience all of that amazing music firsthand. And that's what my brother and I listened to growing up in Canada. We grew up in Toronto. And so it would be the Kinks and the Stones and, of course, Beatles. But my dad also introduced us to a lot of international music, a lot of classical music, and so we had a real wide variety, and got to learn about also other great guitar players, people like Mark Knopfler and Ry Cooder and Buddy Guy and Albert Collins, and Jeff Healey was from Toronto, and so he was a huge inspiration for me. Many players, also people like Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. It's a long list, but all kinds of people. Yeah.
So let's switch to your gear. You play a 63 Strat.
Yeah.
And I saw some interviews where we were talking about your pedals, and you had this Univibe, you had a Tube Screamer sort of pedal. You were also using a treble booster. Has that changed in a way, or is it still the same?
Yeah. You know what? I'm pretty loyal to those pedals. It's a pretty simple setup. Right. Certainly the Univibe coming out of the Jimi Hendrix influence for sure, and some other players that used it, people like Robin Trower. The other pedals were some custom designed by a brilliant amplifier designer named Cesar Diaz. And so, I'm using those pedals. I've been using the same ones for eons. It's a pretty simple, just plug in and go. A couple pedals in the line, and I like to hit the front end of the amp hard with those pedals, and so you get some of that kind of natural explosion happening. And I'm very particular though about the pedals, specifically fuzz faces, wah pedals. I like the first issues of Vox and Crybaby wahs from the sort of late 60s. Known as like the Clyde McCoy wahs, the original ones I really like, or the V846 wahs. Some of those are really great. So, and that's it. Sometimes an Echoplex, but I don't travel with the Echoplex, too delicate. So I'll use like a Line 6 delay or something to emulate an Echoplex. Otherwise, it might be a Tube Screamer. It might be there's a company from Canada called MJM that makes some great pedals that I've had for a long time. And otherwise, Cesar Diaz, and that's it. Yeah.
When you use the Tube Screamer, do you use it like the traditional blues setting, like putting the gain low and the level way up high, or do you have a special setting?
That's right. That's how I like to set it. That's how my understanding. That's how Stevie Ray Vaughan used to use it. Was crank up the level on it and keep the gain low. And so I think, if he did it, then that's how I'm gonna try it too.
Okay. So, but when you use the treble booster, I always made the experience that if you use a regular old school treble booster in front of a normal amp, you could cut glass with the presence and the highs. Is there a special treble booster, or do you use special amp settings in cooperation with the treble booster?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking. And so the one that I'm using is Cesar Diaz's spin on it, and he called it the Texas Ranger. And basically what it is it's his version of this Rangemaster, but he's got a rotary switch on it. And what he has is a low setting, which sounds a lot like a fuzz, the mid setting, which sounds a lot like an overdrive, and then the high setting, which is, very much of a high frequencies, and I run it most of the time in the mid or low, and then just work the volume on the guitar. And so when you roll the volume back, you can definitely get that cutting sound, that very clean, crystally sound. And then when you roll it up full, it gets like kind of fat and snarly. So yeah, it's very interactive with, particularly on a single coil guitar. I like that. It almost works like your guitar then becomes sort of like it's like an EQ or some kind of thing. It's just on all the time, and you can just adjust how much gain you want through your guitar volume. So, but he called them the Texas Ranger, and they're really hard to find, the one that Caesar made. But there's some other companies that have recreated them and or made their versions of them, and like the Pedal Pond guys. There's a number of they're from the UK, and there's a number of companies that are doing their version of Caesar's pedals. But yeah, Caesar was he was a wizard, tone wizard. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Let's talk about the strings you use. You're a D'Addario endorser. Do you use the coated or the non-coated strings? And which gauge do you use? Do you use the classic Stevie Ray Vaughan 013 sets, or are you more a low gauge guy?
Yeah, so yes, I love D'Addario strings. They are the strings that I've used forever and a day, and they're a wonderful company to collaborate with. I'm really thankful for the opportunity. They're really consistent. I change strings a lot. I deaden strings very quickly, regardless of the brand. And so whenever I swap out my strings, the D'Addarios are very consistent, always great. And I like them. I hit them hard. I bend them. They're always there. I'm really impressed. And so I use just the regular, what are they, nickel strings. Like that, they're not coated. I should probably try the coated ones at some point, but I'm very loyal. Like I was saying with the pedals, I like what I like, and I just keep using it. So I'm like that with the strings. And my string gauge is pretty consistent, but it does change depending on how much we're playing. Depends on if I am feeling sore or tired. Like if you're working out in the gym and you're working out 4 or 5 days a week, and sometimes you're like, oh man, I hurt my arm a bit. Oh, I got to go. Then you got to listen to your body. It's no different with guitar playing. If you're playing really hard, and oh man, I'm a little sore today. There's no shame in going a little lighter. You got to listen to your body always. And I think the same, I feel this way very strongly about string gauge. It's like awesome to think you can tell your friends like, oh, hey, I use 13s. I'm so tough. But if you play for 5 hours a day and you're on the road, and you're not sleeping, you're because you're busy, and then you're out playing a couple hundred shows a year, then let's talk about those 13s, because it's not as easy as if you're playing half an hour a day at home, And you have to listen to your body. If you go to the gym and pick up weights that are way too heavy for you, you're going to hurt yourself. So for a long time, when I first started playing, I'd read about Stevie using 13s, and of course everybody's like, cool, I want to try it. And yeah, if you're playing for half an hour a day, you can kind of, okay. But once you start playing like for real and get into it, that's impossible. It's to bend in that kind of way is very rare. And I also think longevity, it's not necessarily great for the hands. For me, so I play a set of 11s, 11 to 54 a lot of times. And on other guitars, I'll use a set of 10 to 54, depending on how things are feeling. And those work great for me. And I have experimented from time to time with even lighter gauges and stuff. But if they're a little too light, it's, it might be just a little bit too, you want to find something that's just right. So for me, 11s and 10s, that feels like the right fit. Like it's the right size shoe for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I also saw that advertisement about the Seymour Duncan pickups, the Mother pickup set.
Yeah.
The name is derived from the guitar that you call Mother.
Yeah.
What is special about them? Are they based on the original 63 pickups that were originally in that guitar?
So the original 63 pickups that were in that guitar, that came original with that guitar, those died. And so I had to replace them. Because I've had that guitar a long time, and when they went south, I talked to a friend of mine in Edmonton, Canada. His name's Brad Bowie, and he said, "Hey, I got a set of old '58 Strat pickups. They came out of a hardtail. You want them?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I bought them from him, and they're amazing. Like you said these came out of a hardtail. They're really sweet. And I put them in the guitar, and it was like this beautiful mix of, the veneer board Strat from '63 and the 58s, which had this kind of very open, chimey sound and a very, very rich in the top end. Beautiful. And then paired with like a fuzz face or paired with some gain overdrive or something, it's like beautiful, perfect. So Seymour Duncan approached me with the idea, and they're a fantastic company, and they did an outstanding job of creating these pickups. It took about a year to make them, different prototypes and studying the pickups, and kind of really carefully made them together, and their team hit a home run. I mean, we were recording the samples, which was fun, where we kind of did a blindfold test after, and we're like, we're not going to tell you which is which. And so it got to the point where it was so close, no one could tell which was the original and which was the Seymour Duncan one. So they did a great job. Yeah. I was really, really proud of them, and I think that the team there hit a home run. Yeah.
So, what are your plans for the near future? What is that Philip Sayce fans can be looking forward to, like show-wise or recording-wise, release-wise?
Well, I appreciate you asking. Thank you. So I'm going to be finishing up the studio recordings. We're doing some mixing right now, a few final overdubs, but the majority of what it's going to be is there, which is exciting. And I think we'll try to release that in the new year, whenever it's ready. And we also have this live album, which is ready. So, and we're in the middle of mixing that as well. We released a song last week, and just one song to kind of take the temperature, see what people, if they want to hear studio or live, and maybe we'll go with the live album first. I don't know. So that's what I've been working on, is sort of pulling those in. We did a residency this year in Los Angeles. Instead of touring, we stayed in LA and worked on the record, and it was at a club called the Baked Potato, which is a very well-known club, and they've been there for decades, and just the coolest people own that club and run it. Great community. They have such awesome musicians that come through there, and it's a real pleasure and privilege to perform there. And we recorded a whole bunch of the shows, and Justin, who owns Baked Potato, he handed me a hard drive and said, we recorded some shows, see if you can use it. I was like, oh, cool. So we went to the studio, mixed it, and it was like, okay, I think we can do this. So it's kind of fun to document it. Yeah.
Is there something for the European fans? Are you going to be seeing live in the next year, probably?
Yeah, thanks for asking that as well. So we'll be in the UK in May and June of 2026. We just announced a tour, and I think it looks like we're going to come to Germany later next year for a tour, a thorough tour through Germany, through a bunch of the cities and different areas. So I think maybe September, October, something like that next year. Great. So we have to just finalize it and hopefully announce it soon, but that's what it's looking like. So touch wood, hopefully. Yeah.
Grab the CD and go see the show. Definitely worth it.
Oh, thanks.
Philip, so much thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Great, thank you.